designed for film that has 5 disciplines in it, and it will be model making, character, it will be costume, production design, and gaming and VFX. So there's 5 disciplines. Within the first year that you come in, and Jessica and Lily, they'll be able to give you an insight as to what it was like to be in first year. It's a common year. So you come in, it's not on, it's a little bit different than what it used to be, in that some people come in and have an idea what they would like to do. Some people don't really know, they just know that they would like to work in the area of the creative arts within film. It's throughout your experience in first year and going into second year, we will hone you, and you will get then through all the experiences, and then you will specialize into one of the 5 disciplines. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring Lily and Jessica in a minute. Lily and Jessica are second years. We have no third year yet. It is, as I said, a new program. So they are the highest students that we have yet. But it is a legacy program, and we have many students out there who have graduated. So it is a new program, but there's a lot behind it. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share on show. On show is from fourth year work, and I'm going to give you a selection of the work that would go under those 5 categories. So I'm going to share my screen, and you'll probably see. Yeah, can everybody see that? I'm assuming everybody can see that. Oh. First discipline. Now, all of this here is, you can actually see this on the IADT website. That's why I've picked it. I'm not only just showing you from a PowerPoint, but you can go into this, and you can see the work for yourself. So this would be an example of model making. This would be model making slash art piece. This is Momo Willett, and this piece is third scale, and you'll see it down in a minute. And this is actually her sister, and she created a whole piece that was dedicated to her sister. You can it's made out of silicone, punched hair, hyper realistic, and this is the scale of it. It's third size. So all the skills that you would need would be given to you throughout the years, and this would be a fourth year project. What happens in fourth year is that you have a minor project and a major project. This was Momo's major project. Also, what happens in fourth year is that you would have a thesis as well. So that's how the fourth year is made up. There is critical and contextual studies throughout the whole of the 4 years, but that sort of gives us the background, and making not just an image, but making something have a life or some solid research behind it. Not unlike this. This is a whole body of work behind it. It's not just the image. So that'd be what I would call model making. That'd be on the model making strand. This one here is Claudia Rapala. Claudia is a character makeup designer, and her project was from text, and but not in like a text from a film. It was from folklore. It was from Baba Yaga, and her sort of vision is what she wanted to do was create a film. She designed everything. So this is a selection of the work that she did here. These are the drawings that she would have done. She designed all the characters. With regard to, yes, she is a character makeup designer, but in my mind, when you come to me first, you're everything. So I'd expect you to design a set. I'd expect you to design costume. You do VFX. You do all of this stuff in first year. Now this is fourth year work you're looking at. So she would have done the costumes. She would have did the makeup. She designed the set. This particular project was done in collaboration with some film students, and it was actually filmed and made into a short movie. You can actually see that on the website as well. So there's a huge amount of research involved in this. The thinking part, the critical and contextual part of this. We don't just make something. We do make stuff, but we think about it and we explore it before we actually make it. This here her intention was that it would be for film. This one here is Judith Solmaneski. Again, this is from they are legacy courses in that is designed for stage and screen. These are 4th years. We don't have a 4th year yet on the design for film, but it would be the same outputs. Judith is a costume designer, and Judith would have designed all the costumes for Dune. She's working off the text. There was a recent one made, and there was one made in I think it was the early 90s. So she would have designed all the characters for this. No, we would never expect somebody to make all of them. This is her minor. She picked for, as I said, there's a minor and a major, and alongside that, there is a thesis. That thesis is worth noting that a lot of people are scared about the thesis, in that it's the words bit that people are scared about. What we do in IADT a lot is we allow people to create presentations and speak of the work. That doesn't mean it's not researched. That doesn't mean you don't have a huge body of work. But there's a huge amount of people, me included, have dyslexia, find the writing very difficult, but we do a huge amount of presentations. So if that's something that is fearful for you, don't be. We can present in many different ways, but you can see that this is her final project, and this is one of the costumes from Dune. All the materials that you see there, she's made materials for this. So there's a huge amount. It's not just making. There's a huge amount of evolution of materials and design and research has gone into something like this. Again, this is for film. Neve Lynham. Neve, her project was designing for 20,000 Leagues Underneath the Sea. And so that's Captain Nemo. You're creating she's creating the whole environment on the water, creating the environment of the submarine. And she wanted the submarine to be based on aquatic life. It had to have technical drawings. You can see that it's based off sea life. And that's how she constructed it. You could see her playing with all sorts of different references. What she did was she created an animatic. An animatic, what that is all the scenes that are built up in the film. She designed the sets, the characters, and put it into a film, and that's up on YouTube. So you can see that she's designed not just the set, but she's also designed the characters as well, and put that into a film. It's a beautiful piece. By the way, all of these people that I've shown you, they work in the industry. They're all working in the industry now, or they've gone on to further education. Momo, I know, is going on to do a stop motion animation masters. So that there would be production design. Some people call it set design, but its proper name is production design. So you would be creating worlds. We create worlds and design for costume and character makeup, not just for film. We design it for theater as well, because theater is it's the birthplace of design for film. Next, this here is VFX on gaming. So I'm just gonna play this. I'm hoping it plays. Usually it better play, yeah. So these are environments that were created for a game. Also, there was characters, 3D characters that were created for a game. So the environment would have been created, and also characters within the environment would have been created. This here, they would have been rigged. They would have been animated. Within the game, this here, it was a game. You could go around inside it, and we're getting more into VR as we go. So a lot of the games you could actually put a headset on and you could play with them. So you can see different types of characters that you could possibly see. There's quite a freaky characters that would go inside a gaming environment. We also, as part of VFX, we will do that throughout the years. There's different. We have a green screen studio here. We have a film studio that is here. So all of these things you will be exposed to within IADT, and we collaborate not only within ourselves but with other programs as well. I was all of this is on the IADT website. It's on show. So if you type in on show, that particular one was 2021, but 2022 is there also. So all of this is you can see it for yourself. There's a few dates that you should look up. That's the whole purpose of this. You want to submit a portfolio. It's all here. Everything is here. It's on the website, and the 20th of March, big day, is submission day. The other one is, and I'll talk about that as well, as the project day. Project day is something that I'm involved with and have been since the very beginning. That there is the 13th and the 15th of February. Now I'm just going to come out of here, stop presenting, so I don't need to be sharing that. You can see my beautiful chroma keyed head. With project day and with the portfolio, I'm going to ask Jessica and Lily to talk about the portfolio, what they put together. Everybody out there is going to want to know what a formula is of a portfolio, so you can get in. It's not quite like that. It really isn't like you need 20 of these, you need 10 of them. What we want to see from you is how you tick, how you think, and what is your passion? Now you are applying for design for film, so I would say that it is advantageous to put something in there that would maybe is course specific. You don't have to. You don't have to. Your competition, just so you understand it, if you're coming from school, that's it's an admirable thing, admirable, my God, thing to be able to do. And Jessica, she can talk about that. She did it. So it's not impossible to come from school with a portfolio. People go to PLC courses, create a portfolio, but the other way of getting through or in is through the project day. What I would suggest is this: is that put in a portfolio, do the project day, do both, and with the project day, you'll actually get to meet people like me. You get to do something with us. There is an exercise that you have to do at home as well, but you actually will work with us too. And what's lovely for me is I actually get to meet people who want to get onto the course, and we can talk about the course while we're actually working together. So it's a really nice thing to do. I'm going to bring in Lily and Jessica.
Paul, before
Yep.
you do, I just have a couple of questions here.
Shoot.
So we have a question from Luke to say about the course. What would the balance between writing and practical work be?
Okay. You have a critical and contextual studies class, and I think, and that's the very thing I was saying to not be scared about. With designing anything, there's I'm going to answer your question, but what I'm also going to say is very important, because with what we do, there's research involved, always research involved in how we design, how we create. And what critical and contextual studies actually does is concretes or and gives you those skills of researching into something that is deeper than just doing a Google search. You would have in first year around 2 essays, I would say. That there would be 1 day a week. So out of a 5-day week, you would have 1 day that would be dedicated to critical and contextual studies, the writing bit. What I would that's the facts, is 1 day a week. But what I would think about is not that it's the writing bit. What I would think of that is actually part of the studio as well, because we will be talking about going back and researching like a work period of time, and you will find that that actually influences your work and makes it richer. But to make it very simple, 1 day a week, and it's easy steps at the start. It's not as hard as complicated as you might think. Lads, I get it. I don't like writing either. But you will be at the end of it. Any other questions?
There is a couple of questions, and then we'll bring obviously Lily and Jessica in, and then we'll probably have another Q&A in a bit. So can you do the project day or project instead of the portfolio, or do you need to do both?
No, you don't need to do both. It is advantageous to do both. I would look. You can literally do the project day, and we will look at your work. But what I would be looking at or thinking if I was you is that ultimately there is a set number of spaces. Now this year we took 60 in, so that's 10 roughly. If you think about it, when it would be divvied up, 10 per discipline. That's a good number. 10 per discipline. That there your competition is somebody that possibly maybe did a portfolio, maybe not. But it is worth doing both, but that doesn't mean that there are people on the course or got onto the course who just they did the portfolio, they got in. That's the whole purpose of it, because people might not be able to do a portfolio, might not have the means to do the portfolio. So it's a way of allowing people to get in. So yes, if you do the portfolio, you can you can get in. But I would advise thinking about doing a portfolio as well, but you don't have to.
That's perfect, Paul. I think there's a couple of questions coming in. I'll be able to answer them, but I think a lot of them will probably be answered by Jessica and Lily as they're going through their experience. So I'm just going to bring you both in, and yeah, feel free, and I'll answer in the background, and we'll touch base then in a few minutes.
You're waiting for me to ask you questions, aren't you? Or you're just going to start. Lads, I just want to thank Jessica and Lily coming on board. I asked them, but I don't think they realise how nerve-wracking it is waiting to talk to 80 people. I met Lily and Jessica in first year, and I think it was the first thing that, it's the first project I did with them. So Jessica, what was why did you want to do design for film?
So I would have originally started kind of in theatre. Like my main interest would have been in theatre and like the world around that, like mainly set design or production design, but like all of it really. And I had the like design for film had been design for stage and screen. So when it went to design for film, it was kind of natural. I'd always had an interest in film as well. And yeah, it's the only course like it. So it was the only thing. I can't even remember what else was on my CAO, truth be told, because I didn't really want anything else.
And with it being designed for film now, do you think that it has serviced your need and want for even thinking about design for theatre? Is that part of it?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely does both, but it also like it'll broaden how you feel about theatre and everything, because it leads into film. They lead into each other.
Lily, why did you pick it? Lily's not from Ireland, as.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Switzerland, so I'm an international student and also a mature student. And I studied graphic design before this, but I always had this like interest in costume and production design. So when I first came to the course, I actually didn't really know what I wanted to do yet. And during first year and having the chance to figure out different projects and trying out different things, I realized that I'm really interested in production design. So
no, definitely not. Yeah, it's gas because you come in and within speaking to you in a couple of days, we saw that I've been doing this for years, and you're going, oh, I think I know where you're going to end up, but you don't think you don't know what you're going to end up. How did you find, Lily, the portfolio or the application process of getting onto DFF?
So I did a portfolio and I used a lot of schoolwork I already had done that kind of went into the direction I thought I might have to show. So I had a lot of illustrations of different kinds of worlds. I had some actual costumes that I made in my free time. And I did a few extra projects that I thought could have anything to do with the course. So I had some makeup in there. I had some like set design, like miniatures in there. I just tried to kind of go into all few areas that could interest me and that could benefit like the learning in the course. So I did a big mix of different things.
I remember seeing your portfolio.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people don't think we do. And out of like hundreds of applications, we see people and go, "Oh, that was you." Like you're, like Jessica would agree, your style is it's you, it's you. And that's why I was saying earlier on is that you, put you in your put you who you are in your portfolio, and let us see what that's like. What about you, Jessica? Because I said earlier on that you came straight from school.
Yeah, I came straight from school. It was tough. I done my portfolio while I was doing my leaving cert, or like in 6th year. Very, very difficult. But like, I mean, very doable. Like, if you don't want to take a year to do a portfolio course, like, I do think it's very much possible. I mean, I would say like I had COVID, so like I had a good bit of time at home that like allowed me to work on a portfolio. But definitely if you feel like you're struggling with time, do the project day and try and put in some bit of a portfolio. But yeah, like I done kind of production design drawings. I done like a sculpt of a rooster. I done some costume design. Yeah, just stuff I thought they might want in terms of all the strands.
And with both of you, were you concerned about, oh, I have to put 25 of this in, I have to put 10 of these things in, or were you just were you even conscious of that, or were you just trying to build up a portfolio that would show us what's inside your head, what you're capable of? Lily.
I think I really tried to do a balance, so I didn't really care that much about how many pieces there were in there. I was more focused on that the pieces I did have had like a lot of impact instead of a lot of them. Because I know you're seeing like 100 portfolios, as you said, and then I'd rather have a few pieces that are like really say who I am and what I'm interested in instead of getting to the number that is like advised.
What about you, Jessica?
Yeah, like I'd say the same. Like really I'd be particular about what you're putting in, like show your best work. I wouldn't be as worried about the amount of work you're putting in, because if you're like just throwing in things that you're not particularly, it's not really you're not really moved by it, they're not really going to be moved by it.
Totally, I would agree with that. The other thing is that people think that we want to see finished work, something that has gone through a process, thought about it loads, but all we want to see is the finished piece. That's not 100%. Actually, it's not accurate at all. What I love to see and spend all my time pretty much is going through sketchbooks. Sketchbooks is literally an insight. It's like a little window into how somebody thinks, and that's what I love looking at. The beautiful bits, I get that, and we can work on that. But what I love seeing is people's sketchbooks, and what I also love, and for people who are putting in your digital portfolio, is a cold image is lovely, fine, it's there on the screen, but a lot of people have done this. They have leafed through their portfolio and even talked about the process. We don't have to see your face, lads, and be natural about it. Just talk about literally what you've done, and it's a lovely way of introducing you to us, and we possibly haven't seen you yet. Your experience in what was it like actually coming into IADT, Jessica?
Like I said, I just come from COVID, so it was like a whole very different world. Like I had never seen the campus whatsoever. I was driven up a few days before starting, and that was the first time I'd ever seen it. Yeah. But no, I loved it. I mean, it's very like in a studio, you have your own kind of space. Everyone mixes very well. Yeah, it's lovely.
What about you, Lily? They're not going to tell you the bad things, lads, because they are in groups and they are singular. So we do work in groups because that's like what the industry is. And that dynamic can cause friction. But in my experience, it causes serious lifelong friendships. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah,
I know them. I know them. Yeah. They would. What about your experience coming in the door, Lily?
So,
Did you see the place?
No, like my first day was my first day in Dún Laoghaire on campus anyway. anywhere outside of Dublin in general, because I arrived in lockdown in Ireland.
Wow.
So my first day was my first time seeing all of it. Seeing Dún Laoghaire weather, completely different from the city. But also, like, I think it's really beautiful that we have this space that is like outside of a city, where it's really just everyone you see there is from IDT, and I think it makes a very like familiar space. You kind of always see the same people, even if you don't know them, and I think that's like really nice to have.
And you just love the lectures.
No, I have to say, it's really nice having lectures where you can also like on a just a personal understanding where you can chat and you don't have to be like, oh, lecturers walking around. It's like,
yeah,
it's really nice.
Quite a casual. It's casual. The relationship between student and lecturer. That like most of my time talking to people is in hallways. People ask me a question, which is lovely. I don't know if there's any other questions. Mary?
There is indeed. There was a few answered naturally within there, but I'll just go through them and be grateful if you could let me know. So I suppose this one kind of came up, but just to give some clarity, are there 25 pieces for portfolio submission, 25 to upload, or can we upload multiple files per piece? And this comes up a lot, and I think it's come up in most Spotlight sessions as well.
Yeah. When you have a website, lads, and you're trying to give information out to lots and lots of people, you have to put figures on things. So what we've done is says that's a goal, or that's a target. If you don't hit that, that's okay. Don't be stressed about that. But within the digital submission, you can upload. If you could be clever about it, you could upload one image, but you can upload a PDF that has 4 images on it. You can curate your own work. You can upload video. You can upload Vimeo, YouTube, all of these things. Like I've had people, excuse me, who are literally talking to me about their work, about a project, and that for me is wonderful. I've even got to know people by their portfolio, and I meet them on day one, and it says, "Oh, you're such and such." But the 25, I wouldn't be stressed about that number. If it was 10, and they show you who you are, and there's what I'd be more concerned about is if there was 10 and there was notebooks in there that are backing up that work, or maybe there's experiments in the notebook that are backing up that work. I'd be really happy with that. So it's a goal. It's not written in stone. And I think if you're worried about 25, I think you missed. You shouldn't be worried about the number. What you should be is looking at your work and trying to present it as best as you possibly can. And with the submission, you can put up, lads, it's as simple as this. When you look at, Lily said it herself, in that you want to put work in there that impacts, because there's could be, I don't know the numbers, but usually it's 100 to 200 applicants. It could be more, I don't know. But imagine it from my perspective. If you put 500 images in there, I will feel like I have to get, I know I want to go through it all, but do they all need to be there? No, they don't. Curate your work. So I would look at the 25 as max. If it's under that, don't worry about that. Honestly, don't worry about that at all.
Perfect. Thank you, Paul. And then I have another question. Can you repeat what the 5 disciplines in this course were, please?
Okay. So the first one is model making, and the second one is character makeup design, costume design, production design. Some people call it set design. It's not product design. Product design, you design kettles. Production design, we design environments for theatre and film. And then you have it's gaming and VFX is the 5th one.
Perfect. And then I suppose this might be one for Jessica and Lily. It's two people really. How is the social side of the course? Because that can affect how you enjoy a course. What is campus life like? Any clubs? And then accommodation. So I can talk about accommodation after, or if you guys have any personal experience, you can also chat about that.
Lily.
Okay. So obviously I didn't know anyone in Ireland before I came here, and I have to say I made some wonderful friends in the course, and it doesn't matter like nationality, age-wise. It's really nice because you work so closely together with people that you really get to know them, even if you're like more shy or less outgoing, because through the group work you just kind of get to know each other. So I think it's really like it makes a big part of the course for me personally, just because I got to know so many great people. Yeah.
Jessica.
Yeah, like I definitely agree. Like you meet very like-minded people, and like whether it takes a little while to find them, they're there. Like I would say I have totally lifelong friends from the course. And like in general, the campus is lovely because it's like what Lily was saying earlier. Like you're seeing the same kind of people a lot of the time, but you might necessarily know them. But it's a nice kind of friendly feeling around the place. Like, and yeah, the group work and everything helps you to get to know a lot of different people.
So that there, you got to know them in the class doing the stuff, you know, the proper stuff. What about after the fun stuff? Is there a life after IADT?
Yeah,
there is.
Yeah.
Like there are clubs and socks. And there's a multitude of them. There really is. As you said, you will meet like-minded people, and you might think that you're the weirdo now. Oh my God, you're not. When you come to IADT, we're all weirdos in this place, and we all find our tribe and our people. Like I came here. Oh my God, I think it was 25 years ago. And I still have lifelong friends from this place. And now I'm teaching here. And even students, I would consider them my friends too at this stage. I think people are asking for is there a social life around? Is it just going to be you sitting in the studio working?
No, not at all. No, there's a lot of that you're meeting people the whole time, and like you're going out for drinks after and stuff like that. Like there is a social life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not all work.
No.
And I think it's really important, especially for this course, because there's like movies, games, everything kind of nerdy almost as well.
Yeah,
I feel like
I use that word.
No, I mean I don't think it's a bad word. It's like I would call myself that.
Totally, yeah.
But it's like it's a very nice way to meet people that like the same things, and like you can go to like conventions together, you can sew together, you can do all sorts together just because you have similar interests in like video games or a movie or whatever.
It's not like school, lads. It really isn't like school here. And I can see that myself as a lecturer. There are people who come in and they're possibly lost at school. They're not lost when they come into something like this because you just have loads of people of like mind, you know.
Perfect. Thanks so much, guys. Another one from Clara. Is it okay to submit work into the portfolio if you used a template for said piece of work, e.g. a pattern for a piece of clothing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like there's an element that you're going to learn how to do that here. We don't expect you to know that coming in the door. But if that was something that you were passionate about and wanted to show that, like that's you, that's from you. You want to show us that you've created this beautiful garment. If you use the pattern to do so, well, I'd like to know that. I'd like to know, why did you pick that? But the fact that it's a template that you've sourced it, that's okay. What's not good, and that's very much now when we're in IADT, is like the horrible word is called plagiarism. It's like if you said that, oh, this is a template that I got and I made this garment, I go, that's great. But if you said, oh, I made this template and this is all my work, and I made this garment, well, that's not 100% true. be truthful. Like I have no problem with that. And you're coming in to learn. You don't need to know everything coming in at all. So yes is the answer to that one. You can go on.
Perfect. Thank you. And the next one is, would having a theme for the portfolio be easier?
Yes, okay. I've seen many portfolios, and the theme would be like some people, especially if you're in school, and some portfolio courses that you do the NCAD brief. So there's a sort of a theme there. That's perfectly fine. Some people have used that and sort of twisted it on its side to be appropriate for a course like this. If we are saying the theme, I'm just wondering, is that are we saying is it all right to do a Harry Potter theme? What's lovely to see is let's say if it was Harry Potter, what would you do? We all know what they did in the films, but what would you do? So yes, you can do a theme in it, but what is it from you that you would put in? Maybe if it's an anime theme, fine. I've seen anime, I've seen cosplay themes. I've seen somebody whose whole portfolio was chicken bones, and a set was made, characters were made, costumes were made. So if you want to call that a theme, that's a theme too. I have no problem with a theme.
Perfect, thank you. And I think an important one as well, what types of jobs would students get after this course, after graduation?
There's absolutely no jobs. There's no point in coming here, lads. There's loads of jobs now. If you literally look in the news, and this happened yesterday, there's news in the news. There's a brand new studio being built. There's one in Ashbourne. There's one in Limerick. There's a huge one up. There's one in Ardmore. There's Titanic. Everybody knows Game of Thrones was made up there. At the minute, they're pumping lots of money into the film industry. You have and if you're into this type of stuff, look at what's happening in the Globes. Look at what's happening in the BAFTAs. Look at what's happening in the Oscars. A huge amount of Irish people are involved in that. Not just actors, but directors, production designers, cinematographers. A costume. So there are loads of work out there. I can put my hand on my heart and say there are loads of students, and they keep coming to me, either asking for advice about how to do something, or asking me, "Have you any students that could work on something?" And there are a huge amount of opportunities out there, and even more so now than ever, actually. Like the gaming industry alone is humongous, absolutely humongous. We are constantly being asked for model makers, constantly being asked for makeup artists, costume people, production designers, constantly, all the time. So yes, I would. The answer to that is simply yes. There's loads of work out there. Like everything you see on Netflix, who made it? And you'll see a lot of Irish people are on those credits.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Paul. The next question is, what is the breakdown of class time like? Is it mostly practical work or lectures?
Lily and Jessica, what would you say is
the first?
Oh, Jessica's go first. That was very nice of you. Jessica, are you stuck in a classroom?
Sorry.
Can you hear me?
No.
No, it's you now, Lily. So
okay.
she can't
Yeah,
hear.
just about.
Like, what would your normal week be?
So it really depends on the module we have at the moment. There are so different, and I don't think a single module has been like the other one. So it really depends. I'd say like the last one we had was mostly working on things and less lectures.
Practical.
Practical, yeah, sorry, practical.
Yeah. No, but it is, you're actually making things.
Yeah.
And then there would be like possibly people are wondering how many days a week do you sit in a classroom listening to people talk to you?
Okay.
Not often, is it?
No, not often. Like it's a lot of work that you do on your own. There's lecturers around that you can ask, or they come to you and they discuss your work with you. But a lot of it is like practical work and not a lot of like listening or yeah.
I suppose people would want to know, like, am I going to be like stuck online listening to videos or listening to lecturers? It's not the
So
case, is it?
no, not at all. If anything, the CCS, the one day a week that you have where you have like critical contextual studies, I'd say that's the only place you actually have those kind of lectures that you would imagine under that tone. But all the practical work is very like brief when it comes to talking about it.
Like we, in my experience of lecturing, you pretty much have the majority of times in the studio. And critical and contextual studies, yes, that would be dedicated, that you have a day of that. But we sneakily put that in within the studio, and we'd be talking about stuff within the studio that is relevant to the work, which is actually research, which is actually critical and contextual studies, really. But we talk about it in an informal way, but it's very much applicable to what we're doing in the studio. It's very hands-on what we do, really. That answers that question. Be on our own, lads. I think so. I saw one there. Have we radiators in the rooms? Yes. Oh my God. I'm in a room here and I have the window open. It's roasting. What I would say about the course, it's for people coming in, let's say they're shy lads and reluctant to be in the group. Do you think those people would have an okay time in here?
Yeah, 100%. Like
it's not scary, you know.
No.
Like we do group work. You are in a big class, but the big class is broken down into groups fairly quickly. So you're working in a small group, and everybody has a voice. I know. I would say, sorry, not I would say it. Everybody does have a voice. So no matter what your feelings are, or if you're introvert, extrovert, there's a place for you.
100%, I agree.
So we have a question here. What counts as, in inverted commas, course-specific work for the portfolio for this course? What's advised to put on it?
Course specific work. Okay. Now, okay, we have DFF, but there's 5 disciplines in it. So you could say, like Lily said, she didn't put in a broad spread. She put in a few pieces saying, I'm interested in production design. I'm interested in costume. Maybe I'm interested in character. So I wouldn't. I have had people who have put in a portfolio with nothing of that. Nothing that is course specific at all, and they've got in. But what is nice, what we do ask is that if you are going to be applying to something, it is quite niche what we do. There's not many courses that do this, that you would show what your enthusiasm is for. And that could be maybe you pick a text. What's your favorite book? Could you design the characters? Could you within that? What do you see? Maybe there's a costume that has always been in the back of your head that you would like to bring to reality, and maybe for some reason it's from nature, made out of leaves. All of these things are okay and good. So the course specific, when it says that for design for film, it could be all of the disciplines, none of the disciplines, or a few of the disciplines. That's up to you. You need to show us really what you're interested in. So if I have seen portfolios that are very much, I remember, they know who this is, Aaron's portfolio. Aaron's portfolio was explorative, but had a lot of costume in it. Would you have thought that, lads? That Aaron would have costume in his portfolio, and that's perfectly fine. So that's what it means when it's course specific work. That it's work that is directed towards the disciplines. So be the model making, prop, character, maybe it's makeup, maybe it's a sculpt, could be 3D, could be 2D, could be flat. Production design, maybe there's an environment that you want to put in. It doesn't have to necessarily have to be for a film or theater. Maybe there's elements of digital art that you do. It's very popular now. It's far easier accessible now than ever with iPads and tablets. All of that would be applicable for and course specific.
Perfect, thank you. And I'm just aware of the time, so I'm just trying to get to as many questions as possible. And I suppose this one is for Lily and Jessica, because I think we briefly spoke about it before we went online. Is it difficult to get onto the course without doing a portfolio course first? I suppose once you meet the entry requirements and submit a portfolio and meet those requirements, you're in for an absolute chance of getting onto the program. But I wonder if it's a kind of is it easy transition? And I suppose that's kind of the main question. And would you say it is, Lily and Jessica?
Yeah,
Jessica, you came straight from school. Did you think that you were prepared to meet loopers like me?
Yeah, totally. Because majority of people your age are just going straight into college anyway, you don't like notice that difference whether like someone has done a portfolio course or not. Like maybe there's certain advantages to portfolio courses, like if you don't feel like you're maybe at a level that like you want to be at art wise, well then a portfolio course would be really good for you. But if you feel like confident in your ability and like, to be honest, if you're passionate about it, you'll get there. You know, like if you really enjoy what you're making and what you're doing, I wouldn't worry whether you've done a portfolio course or not.
Did you do a portfolio course, Lily, or is it just your own work?
No, so before I did graphic design, I did something similar to portfolio course, but it's also kind of like first year. But I was very happy that I did that because I learned a lot about different kinds of art in that time. But that is also a whole nother country, so I don't really know how the portfolio course here is. Yeah.
What I would say about portfolio is I've been doing this a long time, and I've taught the first years for about 20 years now. And my experience is you cannot tar everybody with the same brush. That people can come from straight out of leaving, and like Jessica did, admirable that you can do your portfolio and you're leaving at the same time. But she as a person, and when I met Jessica, I would say, yeah, she knew that she was ready to do this. There are some people out there that feel maybe I'm not fully ready to go to a third level, and maybe I need a stepping stone. And maybe that's not about the actual portfolio, but that's a personal thing about upping their confidence before they go into third level. I think it's a very individual thing, and you as yourself have to look at that and say, am I ready? That's one thing. If we're saying, have I got a better advantage to get onto the course if I do a portfolio course? Yes and no, to be frankly honest. And just because somebody did a portfolio course doesn't mean it's going to be any good. And you could be at home working away in your bedroom, and the work that you produce is just as equal and on par as somebody who spent a year doing a portfolio course. It's very individual. It really is. It really, really is. I think Mary's answering stuff. Oh, that's the question I was going to ask. Because like people coming on to DFF, there are a wide range of ages. You know, of people coming on. They're not all 17-year-olds. Does it matter? Does it?
Yeah, no, I think there's a good few questions coming in. I think it's very much about the portfolios. It's very varied questions, I suppose.
Sure.
I suppose one is, I suppose, the workload that's come up a few times as a theme. What is the workload and the times like for the classes? But I think that's kind of been briefly discussed. But the workload and the class times are kind of a
okay. It's a full-time course. It is I was going to say Friday to Monday. I don't know what I was thinking now. It is Monday to Friday. Are there people who can do this course and work? Yep, people do it all the time. But they have to be able to navigate that. Because it is a full-time course. Your classes will be generally between 10 and 5. But they're your classes. Lads, does it stop at 5? For you, does it stop at 5? No, your mic's off, I think. No, is it? I don't know. Does it stop at 5, lads?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Is that a burden that it doesn't stop at 5?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it really depends on where you put your time in. Like if you want to relax more in the beginning of the project, then you might have to hustle a bit more at the end of it. It really depends on your own kind of time management.
I would say that within this particular program, and I've been like, this is my life too. I work outside of IIDT, and the people like Jessica and Lily that I meet, they're very passionate about what they want to do. So they're in college, but it doesn't stop. It's, you know, they're thinking about it on the bus, going home or coming in. It's something that what if I said, does it take over your life, lads? It sort of does, but is that in a bad way?
No, not
No,
at all.
no,
You do kind of get like infected with that kind of like creative bug around all of that. You get really like, I mean, you're watching all the new TV shows because you want to look at these effects and da 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 da. Like it, yeah, you become very passionate about it.
Yeah, so basically it is Monday to Friday, 10 to 5, and that's the minimum, I would say. People have done it on less. I've had people who have an Amazon job, and they're doing that while they're in here online. There are loads of people who work in restaurants, coffee shops, or have to go home. But that you as an individual have to look at that and have to be able to manage that. But it is a full-time course, and I wouldn't say that it's not demanding. I think it is demanding, but it's worthwhile. I think you, as Jessica, you said, that when that creativity kicks in, you get energy. It sort of feeds itself, and your group, the people that you're with, feed it as well.
Perfect. So I suppose kind of are there exams? And I suppose I will
Nope.
take kind of maybe one or two more questions. Are there exams? So no, that was very.
There's no exams. There's no exams. What people might construe as maybe being an exam is that there are presentations, and that at the end of a project, there would be a culmination of the project and you would present it. Sometimes that's a digital presentation. Sometimes it's a presentation to the room. You're going to end up talking about your work an awful lot. So the people who think, oh my God, I can't talk to people, you will, and you're going to do it really, really well. And even the people who think that they won't be able to do. It's amazing. The thesis or critical and contextual studies, is there exam? No. There's a written piece and it's assessed. Do you sit down on a table with about 500 people in a hall ticking boxes? No, definitely no exams.
Perfect. And I think kind of an important question here, and then after the question, I think I'll just like recap on the important dates for applications and everything, and a final word from everyone here. But I think a question, is there a system which would allow tutors to keep on top of students to make sure that they're doing the work and they can ask specific questions? And I suppose, yeah, do you keep, like, is there a way of keeping track of a student and making sure that they're not struggling or anything like that?
Is there a system that sounds very like, is there an AI system that a fella, something, a camera looking up in the room? Did you come in today? No. What I would say, and I've been doing this a while, I can come into a room and I'll know within 10 minutes if there's somebody in trouble or not, and that's even on a personal level. If we, like, I sit beside you and ask you how are you doing? We have conversations nearly every day. All the lecturers talk to each other. if somebody is having a difficulty, if somebody's having a problem, we know about it. We know about it, and it's not that we're gossiping about anybody. What it is we're saying you need to talk to John because he's having difficulty in this area. So we sort that out, but not. It's not on an official level, as in there's a document in the up in the fact office that says this person's having a difficulty. I would like to think, and to be honest, the minute I walk out of this room and I go across to another room, I'm probably going to have a couple of students come up to me and ask me a question. That's okay. That's okay. I do most of my wheeling and dealing in halls. I think that I would like to think that students feel comfortable and that there is no dress code. Oh my God, you should see me. I would like to think that people are comfortable that they can approach the lecturers and ask them pretty much anything, really, even if it was personal. Maybe there's some people you wouldn't go to, but there's definitely going to be somebody that you can go to, I would think. What would you say, lads?
Yeah,
about
totally.
that? Like it is, it's quite. Well, I use the word intimate, but like we're talking about work all the time, and like we're talking to people, so you will see if somebody's having an off day. Or I've had it many a time that people have had tragedies in their life, and we talk about that. There are services here as well, that people can engage off if they're having difficulties. There's learning support here as well. There have been people that even doing in critical and contextual studies that they've said, I think you should go and get assessed for dyslexia, possibly. That I think you might benefit from some of these classes, and people going, I never knew this. So it's very casual, and you should be able to approach anybody. It's yours. IADT is yours. It's the students. Would you agree with that, lads? IADT is yours, not mine. It's completely the students. Or am I wrong? She's laughing. Anybody should be feel free to go to anybody with an IADT and ask a question.
Perfect, thank you. So I think there's a few questions that are coming in just about the application process, so I can chat about that, and if any other questions come in just before we head off, we'll go through them. And yeah, so if I missed anything, let me know. But I suppose thanks everyone for popping in, and thank you to Jessica, Lily, and Paul. Just about the application process, I suppose the most important thing is to apply before the 1st of February. If you're an EU applicant, apply through CAO. If you're a non-EU applicant, you apply directly to iadt.ie again before the 1st of February. So we get your application, and we will email you around the 8th of February when we get it from CAO, just to invite you into the project days. So the project days are online, so if you don't have to travel down, they're interactive, so please turn on your camera, and we'll tell you what things to bring, like clay, for example. I eavesdropped into Paul's one last year, and I was trying to make sculptures out of whatever I could find on the desk, and they're great. And it's for if you, for example, you haven't got a portfolio and you don't feel comfortable, even if you want to get a taster of the college as well, it's a great way to build up some pieces, and then you can either keep on working. You'll be invited to one of the days. It's either 13th, 14th, or 15th. Some students were really eager and came to 2, but there's a lot of repeated information, so you only have to attend one. You don't have to attend, but it's just if you want to get invited and you want to get a taster for the course and build up on your portfolio. You can then work on it up until the 20th of March, or you can add it to your portfolio, or you can submit it and your portfolio if you already have one already, and then we'll mark you and assess you on what you submitted, or if you submitted to a project day and a portfolio, we can score you on both, and you'll be emailed about 3 weeks after you submit it on the 20th of March. 3 weeks later, you get the score. So it's kind of a very smooth process, but once you apply after the 1st of February, then we'll communicate with you and invite you to the portfolio, and also kind of give you the portfolio guidelines and everything like that. So we'll take you step by step. And in terms of the rounds and the offers through CAO, So first of all, I want to importantly say that we're part of the HERE and DARE scheme. So 10% of our places are reduced for HERE applicants and 10% of our spaces are reserved for DARE spaces as well. So if you are applying through that means as well, we encourage you to do so. And we also have 10% of spaces reserved for mature students as well. That is if you're the young age of 23 as of the 1st of January this year.
That's mature, mother of
That's
God. And what am
mature
I?
students. You're mature.
Oh, well mature, well mature.
So you apply, and they're early rounds, they're round A, for example, and you don't necessarily have to meet the academic entry requirements. You just have to show motivation, enthusiasm, personal statement, CV, and sell yourself as a student who, you know, you mightn't necessarily have the academic entry requirements, but you have the enthusiasm and passion and possibly the work and life experience to bring that up to speed. And then obviously you would require to be and invited for a portfolio as well. So it kind of brings in a nice varied amount of types of students from varied different places. As I said, we have EU students, Irish students and non-EU students as well, and all be communicated invited to the project days, regardless of if you're coming from a PLC or Leaving Certificate or a mature student, your day-to-day job. But the main thing is for everyone is to 1st of February and attend the project days where possible, because I think they're great. If you're not totally confident in your portfolio, or if you just want to kind of get a sense of what is expected, it's a great way of engaging and interacting. As I said, I haven't a creative bone in my body, but I attended last year and made an effort to. And just kind of, with everyone who's spoken today, I was an IDT student more years ago than them, about 14 years ago, and it was the same. And I did applied psychology, and I had maths was a block for me, and I went and I got extra support one-to-one from Christine Horn, who's a lovely lecturer here. So I think everyone, even there's no system in place about kind of if you're struggling as a student, the lecturers know everyone by name, which is lovely and personal, and they'll know you and they'll see you around, and you can go in and you can chat to us. The offices are open, so you can go in and sit down and say any concerns, and it's really open, really friendly, inviting place. So from design for film or psychology, be it current students or previous students, I think we've all had similar experience. So main thing is I think apply for 1st of February, and we'll hold your hand through all the necessary steps to make sure that you have the best foot forward into to hopefully joining us in September this year. But yeah, I don't see any other questions per se coming in, but is there anything, Paul, Jessica or Lily, you want to end on?
Don't stress about this, lads. Seriously, don't stress about it. Do your best and don't be worrying about it. I did this too. Many moons ago, and I stressed about it, and I wish I didn't. To be honest, the process that we give you, and especially with the project day, it's taking that into consideration that this can be hard and difficult for people. Project day, sit down with me and we'll sculpt. That's all we're going to do and chat. Literally like this, but we'll be sculpting away, and all of the other stuff is quite like that. Don't stress about it. Just try your best. That's what I would say.
Great. Well, listen, I want to say again, thank you to Paul, Jessica and Lily. They've been super helpful, and I think you've made really everyone here so eager to apply and interested in the course even more. So I've included the admissions at IDT email that myself and my colleague Robin manage. So if you have any follow-on questions or you think of something and are kicking yourself for not answering it, you know, ask away there and we can answer it ourselves or forward on to the relevant person who will be able to. But I think that's it, guys. And I think thank you so much again. And I'll just end the call now.
Cool.
Thanks,
Lads,
everyone.
thanks so much. Thanks
really
so much.
appreciate it.
I'll
See you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.